Director of Education and Northern Programs at Science North. And before we begin, it's important to recognize where we are. We'd like to recognize that we are on the traditional and ancestral land of the Anishinaabe Nation on Grand Council Treaty Number 3. And we'd also like to acknowledge Treaty Number 3 by recognizing that we are all treaty people, and we have responsibilities under that. And we'd also like to acknowledge the Métis people, Nation of Ontario, for their cultural contributions to this area. Now, before we start, I'd like to recognize and welcome some of our special guests. The Honourable Rickford, Minister of Energy, Northern Development and Mines, Chair of Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, Minister of Indigenous Affairs, and MPP for Kenora, Rainy River. I'd also like to recognize, we have board member, NOHFC board member, John Sibrel. Did he make it this morning? Not yet. Josh Nelson, thank you for welcoming us to the Lake of the Woods Discovery Center. I'd like to welcome Science North CEO, Sugi Laviette. And I want to welcome the students from grade 4 and 5 from Evergreen Public School. And thank you to bringing them out here. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your time doing some coding with the brain bits this morning. Now, thank you so much for joining us for this special event. Science North is very pleased to announce that we're undertaking an opportunity assessment that will help Science North, Northern Ontario Science Centre, to continue to expand its presence in the Northwest. As part of today's event, we'll quickly share with you some of Science North's past and ongoing initiatives to engage audiences in Northwestern Ontario in outreach programs. But our focus today is to talk about the future. So we'll highlight the potential for its greater presence. We are very pleased to have tremendous support for this initiative from the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, which leads me to my first introduction. As you've all heard from our media events with Minister Rickford, he's been one of our strongest proponents of Science North being in all of Northern Ontario. We believe that the work today is the next key step to that growth. Please welcome the Honourable Greg Rickford to say a few words.
Well, thank you for that warm introduction and introductions to what we're going to be announcing today. How cool was that backyard brain box? Can I just see a show of hands? So, in addition, as a former nurse who used to work with people who had serious injuries, that kind of technology is really used to establish whether the extent of injury to your muscles, if you had an accident or an injury of some sort, and that's really important, no question about it. But I was telling a few of you at the table, it is also the technology that's used to develop those video games specifically. I don't know if anybody plays EA Sports, the hockey or the football. Okay, I see some hands. So what they do is they put that kind of technology all over the athletes' bodies, and they mimic the different kinds of actions they can take: throwing a football, catching a football, shooting a hockey puck, hitting a baseball, and use that technology to help develop those video games. So it's very cool, and I like the curiosity. I can see the enthusiasm on your face, and I just want you kids to know that this is the kind of thing that you're going to be able to expect on a more permanent basis. In other words, it's going to be around for a while. So I hope you really like these kinds of activities, because I've got a couple of additional announcements today. Friends, I'm never going to stop announcing the work that we're doing with Science North. This is absolutely critical. And I want to say, first and foremost, to the students and your amazing teachers who do great work every day, who encourage you and challenge you to do great in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have really two things that Guy and I, the president of Science North, talked about a long, long time ago. And first, that was to bring all of the cool things that you're seeing. So you've got the Northern Think Hub, which is here permanently now in Fort Francis. I just announced that last week. We have the Northern Nature things, which is becoming a more permanent aspect asset here. And as well, I don't know if any of you attend Science North camps. Anybody go to Science North camps this summer? Very cool. So did Abigail and Poppy. I don't think they were at Evergreen this year, but they do just a great job of hosting those. And that's because Guy and I and his outstanding team talked a long time ago about an experience I had going to Science North. There's a big Science North building in the city of Sudbury. It's beautiful and it's the coolest thing ever. But I wanted to make sure that kids, families, tourists, people visiting our communities had a similar opportunity to see at least some, increasingly more and more of the great and cool things that make our brains work more, think about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, even if we don't realize it, which is really good, because sometimes those subject matters don't always appeal to you, you may not always like them, but when you start to do things like that, you're doing science and you're doing technology. If you're having fun doing it, I think that it's just going to help the teachers in the classroom and the important job that they do. And as was mentioned, we have approved expansion plans study. This is an important study that is going to take a look at something very important, very important. These are called exhibits. And while they're here a long time, in some cases permanently, this study might help us bring Science North, more and more of its activities, permanently as an installation. So here, like in addition to this being the Discovery Center, it would also hopefully be a Science North venue in Thunder Bay and Kenora. Who'd like to see those things permanently here in this city? Anybody? I do. Come on, let's get into this project is going to examine the size and scope of future operations, include an economic, a stakeholder engagement session, give the team of Science North, their board, who's increasingly going to be represented by people from Northwestern Ontario, so all across Northern Ontario, to make inputs on how these permanent facilities could be part of both Thunder Bay and Kenora, and how we can continue to bring services and programs that are as cool as ever for you to do maybe during school if the teachers can bring you over, after school, and certainly during the summer. The key activities that the assessment is going to take a look at include hiring consultants and assess what we have here in terms of the building and how it could potentially be expanded or fully utilized for Science North to be here. We see a great opportunity for tourism. This is a great place to welcome people in here. And sometimes families, after a long leg of journey, maybe from Saskatoon or from Winnipeg, kind of come in here and go, wow, maybe we could do something with the kids for a couple of hours before we settle in or continue on with our with their journey. This is good news for you students. It's good news for teachers. It's good news for the city of Kenora and our local residents and our families. And I'm also very pleased to announce today that we have approved 7 interns for Science North. Their focus will be to help support the work that this study does and to help to enhance some of the programs that you'll be working on or engaging. The nice thing about these internship programs, and especially when you guys get older and come out of high school, is these will be local internship opportunities across the North, give you a chance to kind of develop things that you think are relevant to your community. And I understand from Guy, and he's probably going to say a little bit more, that these interns actually, there's a very, very high percentage of them that end up working full-time and permanently for Science North. So we're truly working on a sense and an idea that Science North is really Science North. And I don't think, if I look out this window, I'm just thinking that our ideas about science are right here in front of us. As we see the sun, the lake, the wind, the cold, the nice summer, the shoreline, the water, of course, and all the things that go in on it to help and support you guys to be curious and understand what I believe is the real opportunity. For parents, it's the comfort in the sense that we're making really smart investments in things that outside of sports you can come and do in your free time. And for the Discovery Center, hopefully some additional uses that I think couldn't be more important for you guys. So I want to thank you for this extraordinary opportunity. We put together something here that I think puts the finishing touches on a plan to move forward, to not just have exhibits here, to not just offer camps, but prospectively have permanent locations in Thunder Bay and Kenora for your benefit. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm Greg Rickford. I'm the member of Provincial Parliament for the Great Kenora Rainy River. It's a privilege and an honor to serve you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Minister Rickford. We are incredibly grateful for your support, for the support of the NOHFC board and your ministry staff. We look forward to our continued partnership to bring new experiences that generate economic benefit and create jobs in northern communities. And now, please welcome Tourism and Recreation Division Lead with the City of Kenora, Mr. Josh Nelson, to share some exciting news on behalf of the City of Kenora.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you everyone for coming today. Unfortunately, Mayor and Council couldn't be with us today because they have prior commitments, but on behalf of the City of Kenora, we're truly blessed by Minister Rickford, NOHFC, he and the Science North team and the commitment they continue to show to our local community and Lake Lewis Discovery Center. We truly are blessed with all the partnership that we've seen. It's actually amazing to think that just a couple months ago in late August, they were here to give another announcement for our Northern Ontario Think Hub that we have over there. So again, that's a permanent installment that Science North has put into our facility that not only benefits our tourists, but also benefits our locals in our school group like you guys see. I think I saw some of you guys over there playing with it, and I'm hoping that you can go take a look at it after. So again, Science North has been a major partner in helping us essentially put the Discover back in the Discovery Center with permanent exhibits like Northern Beach Traders, Northern Think Hub, as well as traveling exhibits like the most recent one in Beyond Human Limits. So with that, the City of Kenora is pleased to announce a $5,000 contribution for the Northwest Expansion Feasibility Study that Mr. Rickford was just mentioning. And staff at the Lake Lewis Discovery Center are looking forward to continuing to work with Science North as we move forward in the future. So once again, on behalf of the City of Kenora, a huge thank you to Minister Rickford, NOHFC, Ski, Nicole, the rest of the Science North team for all of their support that we've received. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Josh, and thank you to the City for your support of this exciting initiative. The Lake of the Woods Discovery Center has been a key partner in Science North's focus on the North, and we look forward to many other great things in Kenora. And I like how Josh said, let's put the Discovery in Discovery Center. We'd love to help make that happen. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Science North story and where we've been, and after that, we're going to talk about where we're going. So part of Science North's mandate is to serve Northern Ontario. So Science North is Northern Ontario Science Center. And it's been part of our history to do that from the very beginning. But it's been good and perhaps not so good in time. So in 1993, with the support from the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines, we had a 3-year expansion in the Northwest. And that early presence consisted of 2 full-time staff, and they delivered outreach programs and summer science camps. And in 1996, we opened a small science center in the Victoriaville Mall Center in Thunder Bay. Unfortunately, without a strong and sustainable plan that included funding, we experienced challenges with attendance, the capacity to renew, with revenues, and also our early efforts to expand it in the Northwest had really fluctuated. But in 2010, an increase to Science North's operating fund from the province of Ontario created an opportunity to grow our presence in the Northwest. That year, Science North opened a satellite base in Thunder Bay with staff who deliver outreach programs. And we have 2 of our Blue Coat staff that are here with us today that traveled from Thunder Bay and are doing a number of programs in the Kenora area North staff deliver programs throughout the year, including hands-on programming linked to the Ontario Science and Technology curriculum, week-long summer science camps, and so many other things. The team also brings science-based activities to festivals and fairs, mostly in the summer. They do shows at provincial parks, and they set up activities at libraries in the summer. Now, there's been an incredible growth in Science North outreach programs. In fact, in the last 10 years, participation in summer camps and public outreach has doubled. We've also tripled our reach through school outreach programs and reach to Indigenous audiences. In recent years, Science North has taken on a number of other initiatives to create changing experiences and deliver programs in the North. First, we brought Science North's Produced Science traveling exhibit, Wildlife Rescue, to 4 communities in the summer of 2015, and Wildlife Rescue was here, and I remember Heather was very involved with Josh in making that a very successful experience, and students from your schools came to visit that as well. Now, Science North also collaborated with Northern Ontario partners to provide year-round experiences. We've heard a few people tell us about the Think Hub and the Northern Nature Training experiences. They're here, they're run by the partners, and it brings new people to the Discovery Center quite often, and it brings schools like you to come and do school programs. Now, over the last 5 years, these experiences have contributed to the sustainability of host attractions by bringing in new and repeat visitors and creating a collaboration network between all these hosting partners across the North. Now, this past summer, do you remember the exhibit that was here? It's called Beyond Human Limits. It was about extreme sports. Did some of you come and see that? Yeah, that was pretty cool, and it was in that room just right back there. And that exhibit toured 5 Northern Ontario communities. And that exhibition was incredibly valuable because it increased attendance in all locations by an average of 110%. We're looking forward to future opportunities to work with our partners on similar, customized for the North experiences. Now, another recent experience was the installation of the Northern Think Hub, right over there where you work on the chain reaction and you make your own musical instruments. That has been installed in 6 Northern Ontario communities. And this new hands-on exhibit is also increasing visitation in all of these centers, giving visitors access to resources not previously available, and equipping partners with toolkits so your classes can come and visit and do some school programs with some pretty cool tools. Now, in addition to these experiences and exhibits in Northern Ontario, Science North has also increased its reach in Indigenous communities across the Northwest. In fact, we've got Dave from the Bemose Travel Council, and Dave is part of our Northwest Expansion Committee, and we work with the Bemose Travel Council to bring these programs to teachers and to students through school programs and through workshops. In the last 4 years, we've also started to develop and to deliver Science Summer Days. So we go into First Nations communities in the summer, and we do sort of like a summer science camp in the First Nations communities, and that has been very well received. So now that I've told you about what we've done in the past, I'm happy to introduce Science North CEO Guy Lebien to tell you about the future.
Thank you and good morning. It's great to be here. Funny story about weather because it's a bit cold this morning. The minister was in Sudbury in February. It was minus, I think, 35, and big snowstorm. And the minister said, you know, in Southern Ontario and in the US, they talk about the polar vortex as being sort of the end of the world as we know it. And he said, you know, Northern Ontario we call it winter. And I was reminded of that story when I was walking outside here. What a great location. Minister, the story is never too old to retell of the importance of your support, your advocacy, and your encouragement for us to expand our presence in the North. Obviously, many of these investments would not have occurred without your involvement and your support, but also on a wider scope, both with our board, with my team at Science North, and all of our partners. The words that resonate with me is that you need to be Science North as opposed to Science Sudbury. I hope that the result of this work will show that even more. So I want to thank the board members from the NOHFC as well, and Josh, I want to thank you and the City of Kenora, and please pass on our thanks to Mayor and Council for their support, for the investment and the encouragement of us doing this work. And Nicole talked about the incredible growth that we've had over the last 10 years, and it's well documented, and obviously she explained it really well. But in 2017, with our own resources, we said, we need to take this to the next level. We need to do more research work and better understanding what the opportunities are, more importantly, what the demand for programs and services will be throughout Northern Ontario. So that work was conducted with an external consultant and a team of Science North and our partners across Northwestern Ontario. And there were several key recommendations from that work. First is that there was in fact a demand for Science North to enhance and expand our outreach programming here in Northwestern Ontario. That we needed to establish a strategic approach to ensure the sustainability of our outreach programs. The last thing we would want to do is to have these great exhibits, this great installation, grow our physical presence with permanent staff based here in Thunder Bay, and for it not to be sustainable over the long term. That we needed to enhance the capacity in the region through leveraging volunteerism and work with corporate partners, and that we wanted to specifically identify locations that would have an interest to connect with more tourists and more visitors, at the same time enhancing our capacity to grow our programs and services. That we needed to broaden our strategic efforts to enhance the visibility and the awareness of Science North in these specific communities. And last, that we needed to work very specifically on what a physical expansion would look like in Thunder Bay and here in Kenora. So armed with this work, we went to the NOHFC, and as you know, that's history now because the NOHFC has approved this funding for us to take this to the next level. And in fact, that's why we're here today, to commission the Northwest Feasibility Study and Opportunity Assessment. Through this study, we'll further define the market potential that exists throughout Northwestern Ontario, with specific focus on Kenora and Thunder Bay, and explore how that might translate into more concrete recommendations to take to our board by March of next year. There are more than 2.2 million visitors who travel the Northwest each year for recreation. An expanded Science North presence has the potential to bring new experiences for these visitors, increasing their length of stay, bringing economic benefits, and creating new jobs here in the region. Expansion and renewal of Science North across Northern Ontario has resulted in a wealth of benefits for the North, creating jobs and sustaining and in fact creating new businesses. The outcome of the opportunity assessment will lead to an extensive growth of this visitor experience and programming with our partners. Consultation with community stakeholders, Science North staff, and our partners at these attractions will develop a vision for Science North expanded presence in the Northwest. We'll identify these services and programs that we know exist, determine the scope of our physical presence, and develop a sustainable operating model. So with the support of the NOHFC and the City of Kenora, that's announced today, we're moving forward to help develop what that opportunity is, better define how we will meet and exceed the expectations with those opportunities, and what is sustainable and feasible to make sure that this presence by Science North is not only here for the next few years, but in fact permanently. And last but not least, again, I want to thank the Minister for the intern application. We've had over our history 34 interns who have been able to grow their job skills, gain practical work experience, get hands-on experience, but I'm proud to say that 20 are still employed at Science North, and I'm very proud of that track record. It's a wonderful program that allows us to be able to help and play a role in shaping the work careers of individuals who are recent graduates. So again, thank you so much to our partners here in Kenora, to all of you for coming, and certainly to Mr. Rickford and your colleagues on the NOHFC board for their vote of confidence and their support for this. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Guy. So we're done. We're just going to take a photo, and then there's snacks in the back for the students. We're going to bring them to you, and there's coffee and muffins for the adults. But we do want to take a photo. So I'd like to invite Minister